Very good evening. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan. I hope you had a wonderful day today. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Shirdi, Sai Baba. We will continue where we stopped, that is chapter 33, the significance of Udi, part 1. My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati, to Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra. My most humble obeisance. I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. We stopped at verse 1117. We'll start from 1118, but I will read the story from where we stopped, okay? So this was about Nana and how this person, met the Tonga wala, and suddenly the Tonga disappeared after reaching Nana's place. Nana said, "What Tonga? I had not sent it. I know nothing about this. Who knew that you were coming, and so why should I send a Tonga?" Remember, Baba had sent Udi Prasad and also the Aarti to sorry, just one moment, I forgot the name of the person. Okay, I'm not going to waste time looking for the name, but we will find the name of the person. So he sent with Bua the Udi Prasad and the Aarti. So when Bua reached the station, there was a Tonga wala, and nobody knows where he came from. Bua assumed that Nana had sent the Tonga, and that's the recap. So now Nana is saying, "What Tonga? I had not sent it. I know nothing about this. Who knew that you were coming? So why should I send a Tonga?" Bua then narrated the whole story of the Tonga from the beginning and in great detail. Such motherly affection of Baba filled Nana with love and wonder. Oh, where was the Tonga? Where the peon? It is only Mother Sai who plays these different roles in different garbs, and out of love for his devotees comes running to their rescue in the hour of their need. But now, let us continue with the earlier story of Narayan Rao. Later, after some time, Baba also attained Nirvana. So what here it signifies is that Baba is omniscient, omnipotent and omnipresent. He is all pervading. So for him, his love for devotee is far superseding than any motherly love. That is a human being that I'm talking about. Baba is that universal mother whose compassion is towards all his devotees, disciples, and this entire universe. So he ensures that he himself will deliver whatever that well-being of that individual is, and he takes care of everyone. So, but now let us continue with the earlier story of Narayan Rao. In the year 1918, choosing the auspicious day of Dasara, Baba surrendered his mortal body to the earth. Later came the Samadhi. But before all that, even while Baba was still in the physical body, Narayan Rao had availed Baba's darshan on 2 occasions. 3 years passed after the Samadhi was built, but in spite of a very keen desire for darshan, he had not been able to find a suitable opportunity. That made him very impatient. A year after the Samadhi, Narayan Rao began to suffer from ailments. All remedies were tried, but the usual remedies all failed. Though harassed by suffering, he meditated day and night on Baba. How can Guru Maharaj ever die? Baba gave darshan to Narayan. See, these great beings, they don't die. They are always eternal. They are in the unmanifest form. We say Guru Sakshat Parabrahman. The Parabrahma has just donned a body to come and impart the knowledge. But the Guru never dies. The Guru is a Tattva. It's a principle. We have discussed this in earlier chapters of how the Guru is just a Tattva. The Guru is always with you. How can he ever leave you and go? It is just that the body he leaves. His purpose is over, so he has to leave the body, because body is a created being, right? The body is created out of the elements. So the elements have to anyways go back to the elements. So the body will have to die someday. But the unmanifest form, the Guru Tattva, is eternal. It doesn't die. So you can experience your Gurudev anytime you want in his eternal form. He's always with you. This is the conviction you need to have. Don't ever say that somebody died. These divine beings don't die. They just leave the mortal body. One night, he had a dream. He saw Sai coming out of an underground cellar and standing near Narayan Rao. He gave him an assurance. Have no worry in your mind. From tomorrow, you will get relief. And at the end of 1 week, you will sit up on your own. 8 days passed thus, and the truth of Baba's words was experienced to the very letter. Once again, Narayan Rao was up and about. His joy knew no bounds. After some time, Narayan Rao came to Shirdi to have Samadhi Darshan. It was then that he narrated his experience. How can it be said that Baba was alive only while he was in the physical body, and that he is dead because he has taken Samadhi? He is in fact beyond life and death and pervades this creation, animate and inanimate. Just as the fire is always in the wood but lies latent and is kindled by the process of friction, so is also Sai for his devotees. Once you look to Sai with love and affection, he is in your power all your life. He wants nothing but single-minded love and devotion and comes running to your help when you call him. Neither time nor place can then restrain him. He stands behind you firmly all the time forever. How he will press the spring and where we do not know, for all these doings are inconceivable. Absolutely true. Baba is always there with you. You just need to seek. Similarly, with absolute faith in your heart, when you call out to your Guru, he is going to come and stand in front of you. Just have the grace to recognize him. He can manifest in any form. He can come in a form of an ant, he can come in a form of a dog, or he can come in form of a human being. In any form, they just can don that form and be present for you. But you need to have this grace. I'll give you a very beautiful story about my own experience in how Baba says that I am always with you. In 2014, I finished this Parayan, and just before my Guruji arrived, or I think after the puja, I can't remember exactly the time, my Guruji was narrating a very beautiful story about how Baba gives everyone different experiences. So I had this inclination. I also want to see Baba. Why is it I can't see Baba next to me? Why haven't I been able to experience Baba? Yes, I have experienced Baba. But at the time you crave, when I finished this Parayan, it was so intense that you just you crave for that grace to see them. It's but natural. So it so happened, we finished the puja and everything. I think my Guruji had gone back, and I was sitting there in my room, and at that time saying, Baba, you've given darshan to so many people. Sometimes I just feel that you talk to me in a very weird manner. You communicate with me, but I've not seen you, like really seen you sort of. But I've experienced you. You're there, and I have your the unmanifest sort of that I don't know how to describe in words. I don't know how to put this experience to words. But I've always experienced him I've experienced him in a different manner, where he's communicating in just like through experiences. It's not that I could see him physically. When I was saying this to him, I was sitting there and I was seeing his photo, his picture, right in my room, where the small puja room. I was sitting there and talking to him. And after that, suddenly, one day I was sleeping here in this, how it's mentioned, Baba standing behind him. So he's right sitting next to me. I could experience him literally sitting there. And then there's another image of him right in front of me where he's sitting there too. So there's two beings, like he's sitting right next to me, and one he's like standing in front of me. So these two experiences were so unique, and he's just trying to explain to me, look, I am always there with you. You don't have to physically see me. I am in the tattva, the essence. I'm always there. I'm all pervading. I'm very much with you. Why do you think you can't experience me? So that was very beautiful. And I'll give you a very funny thing that happened. My Guruji had given that Udi of Baba's, Udi Prasad. And I said, Baba, I want you to be with me. So I took this Udi Prasad and kept it very, close to my heart wherever I go. And it's always carry that Udi Prasad with me in my handbag. Just to say, let all your blessings be. There's always a Bhagavad Gita with me and this Udi Prasad. So suddenly, one day when I said, Baba, you have to always be with me, never leave me. Somehow the packet which my Guruji had packed in, so intact, it opened up and it was smeared in my handbag. I couldn't understand how that would come out of that tiny, the tightly packed. So I didn't understand that. And then that whole Udi Prasad was smeared in that Bhagavad Gita book. It just says that I'm always with you. You don't even have to doubt even for a moment. So such are the beautiful experiences that you will have when you seek. So again, I keep saying this, to each his own, and as is your faith, so are your experiences. Baba himself has said in this. So seek with your heart and you will experience this Guru Tattva. The Guru is always with you. He's not leaving you. Just because you can't find him in this physical form with you, do not grieve. Do not think that he's not there. He's always looking out for you. You just need to look around. There's always a sign saying, I am with you. I am with you. Why fear when I'm here? Why are you grieving that you can't see me or you can't experience me in the way you want? It is not required that it's always in the physical form, but you will experience him in whatever capacity. Just close your eyes and see around. You will see him everywhere. When your faith is so strong, when your devotion and love towards him is single pointed, what makes you think he's not going to be there? The Guru, the great divine being, is always there, eagerly awaiting to, he craves for that love, just like the Chataka bird, craving for that, the dew, the drop of water. So similarly is the Lord Almighty craving for your devotion. They're always waiting, they're eagerly waiting for that devotion of yours. So when you have that devotion, when you have that love, what makes you think he's not with you? So this is the misconception you need to understand. It's only this misconceptions you need to remove from your mind and tell your mind, no, my Guruji is there with me. He's always there in me, within me, around me. He's all pervading. The thing that talks to you, the voice, the inner voice, it's a very subtle. You might not even able to listen, but there's something that tells you. The first voice, that is the divine voice, is always there within you, in your heart. There is no way that you cannot have your Guruji with you. Of course, he is always with you, with everyone who sincerely seeks him. So don't worry, don't grieve, thinking that your Guruji is not with you. He is with you. Experience him. Seek and you will get. That's they say, right? When you go and seek, you will find God. So seek for that. So look around and don't let your mind say he's not with you. This is one very dangerous thing which the mind creates. Oh, look, your Guruji is not with you, and it creates boogies in you. You're all alone, you're living yourself, there is nobody to talk to you. See, those are all like those, fear. Those are all the inadequacies that your mind will throw. It's always trying to instigate, the mind is always going to instigate you against your Guruji or the divine beings. So don't fall prey to what your mind says. That is Maya. Open your heart and you will find him. So this is exactly what Baba is saying here. He is in fact beyond life and death and pervades this creation, animate and inanimate. Just as the fire is always in the wood but lies latent and is kindled by the process of friction, so is also Sai for his devotees. Once you look to Sai with love and affection, he is in your power all your life. He wants nothing but single-minded love and devotion and comes running to your help when you call him. Neither time nor place can then restrain him. He stands behind you firmly all the time and forever. How he will press the spring and where we do not know, for all his doings are inconceivable. I hope you understood this. Such is his planning that innumerable doubts and misconceptions will arise in the mind. But when we concentrate on his feet at such a time, our power of meditation and contemplation grows. When the mind is concentrated in this manner, meditation on Sai will follow. And this is what Sai gets done. The task is also accomplished without an obstacle. The worldly affairs need not be given up, but the hankering after all things worldly will automatically cease. Once the mind is trained thus, and work will get done effortlessly. I think I've explained this, and this is exactly what Baba is also saying. And you will, when you concentrate, Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murti, Puja Moolam Gurur Padam, Vakya Moolam Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Gurur Krupam. So everything is the Sai alone, the words that come from your mouth, the dhyan that you do has to be your feet. I mean, the lotus feet of your Guruji. And when you focus on the lotus feet of your Guruji, all that hankerings will go away. Then you will find that single-pointed devotion. You will experience that love. And your heart will be purified. And then all the hankerings after the material worldly things will go away. And he will give you what you need to get effortlessly. That is exactly what is mentioned here. And thus, and trained thus, and work will get done effortlessly. But the hankering after things worldly will automatically cease. Once the mind is trained thus, and work will get done effortlessly. Whatever work you have to do in the material world, you will be on autopilot. It will just keep happening. You have to, as a body, put your effort and keep doing it. But everything will fall in its place. That is what Baba says here. The worldly affairs need not be given up. Since this body has taken birth in this karma bhumi, earth, the karma will be performed undoubtedly. See, everybody has come with this material body. So we have to perform our karma. That cannot be given up at all. Till the last minute, even the great masters, though they have nothing to achieve. They are not bound by any, ashramas. Yet they perform their duty to the T. Why? Because as a body, you have to perform your karma. And the great masters, their karma is very simply this. They are here to teach, guide you on the path of spiritual, ensure your well-being, and make sure that you attain your spiritual being. So, wife, sons, wealth, and house, let all these be collected to the heart's content. Let things happen as they will, but our good lies in meditating on our Sadguru. All doubts, all resolutions will disappear, and the predestined calamities will be averted. Seeing the loving devotion of the devotees, this Sai, the abode of all virtue, gives them experiences one after the other to glorify devotion. The only reason why he gives you experiences is to glorify devotion. You have to evolve on the path of devotion. Once you have that experience, you're absolutely firm in your belief. Your mind will then not throw any doubts. Donning any dress that pleases him, he appears wherever he wishes and wanders anyway just for the welfare of the devotees. Only the devotees should be trusting. See, this is very beautifully explained. Like I already mentioned, he can don any garb, he can come in any form, in a form of a dog, cow, you name it. He can take any form and come. And it's only to please you. You just need to have the grace to recognize and then trusting. Only the devotee should be trusting. You need to trust him. Have that faith. Never lose the faith. Even when your mind is instigating against your Guruji, do not have that doubts. Trust him. Trust in him. Hold his feet. He will then help ensure you are able to overcome that Maya. And you know what? My Guruji thought a very beautiful secret. It's a very simple mantra. He said, whenever your mind is agitated and is throwing too many doubts that you're unable to control, he said, pray to Krishna with absolute sincerity. Say, Krishna, I love you, I love you, I love you. Keep saying I love you n number of times. Just say that. Krishna, I surrender to you. My mind is instigating, me against you. Please help me. Just seek that I love you, I love you. This is all your words have to be. And trust me, that's a magic that happens. Then you will see magic happening within you. Your heart will open up, your mind will stop that talking too much. You will then evolve, you will find that peace, that bliss, and Lord Shri Krishna will ensure you will sail through that process. So you don't have to fall prey to the mind, and when you do that, all the doubts will just disappear. So don't doubt. Just say the secret. Just keep chanting within yourself. Krishna, I love you. Krishna, I love you. This mind is instigating me against you. Please help me. Just say that much, and miracle will happen. You will experience this within yourself. I have personally gone through this myself. Listen attentively, all listeners, to another story in this context, which will show how the saints work untiringly for the devotees day and night. Throw open the doors of your ears that lead to the temple of your heart, so that this tale enter it, for it will help overcome the fear of worldly life and calamities. This recent warfare with the Germans, World War I, which has just ended, necessitated the formation of an army to fight the enemy. So the British government was recruiting men for the army everywhere, in all the cities in India. The year was 1917, and the opportune moment had arrived for the devotee, who was then posted in the Thana district. A most amazing incident took place at that time. The name of this devotee was Appa Sahib Kulkarni, and by Sai's power, by his inconceivable leela, it was that this devotee developed a strong, unwavering faith in Sai. Years ago, Bala Sahib Bhate had given him a photograph of Baba, which he had started worshipping. And with all his heart, action and speech, would he worship it daily, offering whatever flowers were available, sandalwood paste, consecrated rice, etc., and the Naivedya or food offering. When will this karma bhog be over? When will my heartfelt desire for Sai's actual darshan in person be fulfilled? Such was the yearning of his heart. But the darshan of Sai Baba's photograph is the same as his darshan in person. But there has to be full, complete trust, and you will receive the mark at the right time. And now, listen carefully to the narration of how the darshan of his mere photograph is the same as his actual darshan. Oh my God, how beautiful is. See, we all like to keep the pictures of our Ishta. So when you have the pictures, whether it's a real form or the picture, they both are one and the same. There is no difference. That is what Baba is saying. But you need to have that conviction. And he's saying, but there has to be full, complete trust, and you will receive the mark at the right time. You will be able to experience your Guruji through that picture. He's real in it. What makes you think he's unreal there? No, he's very much living with you. It's just that you need the trust to see that he's living with you, he's communicating, he's watching for you day in and day out. That is his love. You might have kept that picture from wherever. That photograph is equal to his actual presence. Why don't you understand this? And now listen carefully to the narration of how the darshan of his mere photograph is the same as his actual darshan. Bala Bua Sutar, the Kirtankar from Bombay and known as the modern Tukaram, once went to Shirdi for Baba's darshan. This was his very first, but although he had never met Sai before, as soon as they looked at each other, Sai very clearly said to him, "See, I have known him for the last 4 years." Bala Bua naturally wondered why he was saying so. Baba has not left Shirdi, and even I have seen Shirdi for the first time today. Then how is it that Baba has known me for the last 4 years? As he pondered on it, Bua suddenly remembered that 4 years ago he had once made obeisance to Baba's photograph. Bala Bua at once realized the truth of Baba's words. Just see the all-pervasiveness of the saints and their love for the devotees. I had made obeisance only to the photograph and set eyes on his form for the first time today. But Baba recognized me, though I had forgotten all about it long ago, he thought. And yet, it is not correct to say I forgot. I did not understand the meaning of Baba's words immediately. For I had not the power to understand that my obeisance to the photograph was the acquaintance he referred to. Baba knew me and I was not even aware of it in the least. It is only when the saints remind you that everything comes back to your mind. Just as we see the reflection of the sun or the moon in clear water or a clear mirror, so is also the photograph a crystal clear reflection, a symbolic representation of the person. Hence, the darshan of a saint's photograph is the same as his actual darshan. This is the teaching of the omniscient saints to all. This is so important. You need to understand. The darshan of a saint's photograph is the same as his actual darshan. This is the teaching of the omniscient saints to all. You must understand that whatever photograph that you keep, whether it is of your Guruji or any divine Lord Almighty, that is equal to that of the divine themselves. They are omniscient. You can experience them through that picture, through that photograph, through that idol, whatever that you're worshipping. So do not discount that. They are real. They are literally sitting next to you. Fix your mind on that and see the magic that can happen. But you need to trust. That is exactly what Baba's saying. I'll tell you a very beautiful story about my own little experience. There's a very beautiful photo of my Guruji's feet. And it's just the feet. There's a very nice picture. So my Guruji had just handed it to me last year. And I placed it where I was sitting and working, where I had my desk. And the picture was right above my head. And for me, it's always that I believe that my Guruji's feet is always on my head. And that's something I always believed from that moment. And not just that, not just because the picture came in. I always see, let your feet be on my head, because I don't want to get into this ego, arrogance, pride, nothing. Let your feet be on my head, that I understand you are the master. I am just mere your servant, your devotee, your humble devotee. And I am only a tool in thy hands. I should never get into this ego thinking that I am the doer. I didn't want all that to be, but somewhere had this feeling. So every single time when I work, I know my Guruji's feet is on my head. He's always there with me. He is guiding me through all the things that I need to learn, I need to understand. So why fear when I'm here? But you need to keep developing. Yes, doubts come. Oh, where is my Guruji? I can't find him. All that happens. But he's always watching for me. His feet is there. I always hold his feet. Similarly, the first thing I said is, wherever I'm sitting and working, please keep this picture on my head. That's all I care about. So that is what it is. So you need to put your faith in it. So have that belief. What makes you think he's not there in that? He's very much there. My Guruji's feet is always, in front of me. It's there on my head. That is my ishta. That is my way of wanting to always have his feet on my head. So it's what you want to experience, and the divine will fulfill that. But have the trust and love, and magic will happen. So know that feet, when I see, I don't see, I just know that my Guruji is literally there. That is his feet right there. I can feel it. That kind of conviction you need to have. And when you focus and concentrate, and believe me, the grace is so strong and your devotion is firm. It gets fixed, embedded into that. And then you will experience them. But before that, stop doubting and have that absolute conviction. You will be able to see your Guruji in that picture of his. Now let the listeners be attentive so that they can pick up the threads of the earlier story. Appa resided at Thane and had once to go to Bhiwandi for work. So he left the house saying that he would return after 8 days. But hardly had 2 days passed since he left, when here at Thane a most amazing thing happened. A fakir came to the door. As their eyes met, everyone thought that Sai himself had come. For from head to foot he resembled the photograph in face and figure. Appa's wife, his children, they all started to they all stared at his face in astonishment. They all felt that Baba himself had come. None of them had actual darshan before, but from the resemblance to the photograph, they felt sure that he was Baba and hence were most curious. So they asked the fakir, "Are you that same Sai of Shirdi?" Listen carefully to what the fakir told them. "I am myself, not really Sai, but I am his obedient slave, and by his command have I come to inquire after the children and the family." Then he began to ask for dakshina. The mother at once gave him 1 rupee very respectfully, and he too gave them udi. He gave Sai Baba's udi to the lady in a packet and said, "Keep this alongside of the photograph. It will bring you great happiness." Having thus accomplished his purpose, he took leave, saying, "Sai must be waiting eagerly for me," and went away. As he set out from there, he went the same way as he had come. But what happened at Appa's house was really Sai's most wonderful Leela. Appa Sahib had no doubt gone to Bhivandi, but he listened. Instead of going ahead, he had to turn back as the horses of the Tonga took ill. The father the father visit had to be cancelled. Sorry, the further visit had to be cancelled. In the afternoon, he returned to Thane. When he heard what had happened in his absence, Appa Sahib had great regrets that he missed the darshan. He also felt ashamed that only a rupee was given as dakshina. Had I been there, I would have never have sent on off without offering anything less than rupees 10 as dakshina. So said Appa Sahib to himself. He felt a little sad at heart, thinking that he may yet find the fakir in the mosque. He set out in search without even taking food. Appa searched for the fakir in all possible places, mosques, takiyas, wherever the fakirs were usually staying. He was quite exhausted by the search, but the fakir could not be found. Disappointed and hungry, he went home and had food. But most important here, right? You don't search the God on empty stomach. That is the lesson. I hope you remember the lesson of how Sai Baba met his Gurudev, and his Gurudev said, "Eat the bhakri. You don't have to search." And why is the way now? He meant. I hope you remember that chapter. So you don't search God on empty stomach. So that is the rule here. So let us see what happens now that he has eaten his food. But what he did not know that was that one should never undertake any search on an empty stomach. The Atman should first be satisfied, and then the search taken up. The truth of this principle is revealed through Baba's story, conveying the same significance. But the listeners already know it, then why repeat it? Absolutely. So you've already learnt about this in an earlier chapter in detail. So let us continue now. In the previous chapter, a fascinating story called The Greatness of the Guru has been narrated, in which Shri Sai, the compassionate one, has described in his own words the promise of the Guru. And the truth of these same words was now experienced. After taking his food, Appa set out once again for a casual walk, taking with him his friend Chitre. After after treading part of the way, he noticed a person who kept on looking at him and walked up hurriedly to where he was to meet him. When he came and stood near him, Appa Sahib took a furtive look at him, thinking in his mind that this must have been he who had come to his house that morning. This seems to me to be the fakir for whom I was searching earlier. He resembles the photograph to the very tips of the nails. My mind is quite bewildered on seeing him. So Appa inferred in his mind, when suddenly the fakir spread out his hand before him, on which Appa placed a rupee at that time. When he asked for more, Appa gave one more and yet a third one, but the fakir still asked for more. The real wonder was still to follow. Chitre had 3 rupees with him, which Appa took from him and gave them to the fakir. But still the fakir would not stop asking for more. Appa Sahib said to him, "I can give you more if you come home." He agreed, and the 3 of them returned to his house. After coming home, he at once took out 3 more and gave them to him. Now he had given 9 rupees in all. Yet the fakir was not satisfied. When he began asking for more dakshina, Appa said, "Now there remains with me only one 10 rupee note. All the loose change is finished and nothing else is left. Why not give me that note?" said the fakir. So Appa gave it. Remember, Appa had said, if I was there when the fakir had visited home, I would have given him 10 rupees. So the fakir is all knowing. He is Baba himself, but yes, you need to have that faith to see that. So the fakir is, conveying that I need the 10 rupee note. As the note came into his hand, the fakir returned the 9 rupees. He then went back speedily the way he had come. The significance of the story is that it is Sai's promise that he will get fulfilled whatever words a devotee might have uttered. So when you utter something, I want to do this, or I want to offer this to my Guruji or to the divine, whatever that might be the case, the divine will come and accept it from you, so that he wants you to keep up your word. They can don any form and come. And this is the greatness of the Guru Bhakti. This is what Sai Baba is giving an understanding through this experience. These are the Leelas that has happened. So he's saying, have that faith. And when you seek with a pure, truthful heart, with absolute love and devotion, you will be able to experience what you seek. Eager that the listeners are for more, I shall narrate another story with the same purport, which I am reminded of in this context. Listen to it with respect. There was a faithful devotee called Haribau Karnik, a resident of Dhanu village. He cherished a steadfast devotion to Sai. In the year 1917, on the auspicious day of Guru Purnima, he had undertaken a pilgrimage to Shirdi. And that is the tale that I shall now relate. With all the proper ritual, he performed the puja, making an offering of garments and dakshina, and took Baba's leave. As he was coming down the steps, a thought arose in his mind. He felt that he should go up again and offer 1 more rupee to Baba, but he had to give up the idea and keep back the rupee. The person, Madhavrao Deshpande, who had arranged for the darshan, leave taking, etc., earlier himself signaled to him from above that once he had taken leave, he should now proceed ahead on his way. Implicitly trusting the signal, Karnik walked ahead. On the way home, he and his friend made a halt at Nasik. When Karnik went to have darshan at the temple of Kala Ram at Nasik, unexpectedly he had the darshan of a saint, Narsin Maharaj. Although surrounded by a group of devotees, Maharaj suddenly got up and, catching Karnik by the wrist, said, "Give me 1 rupee." In his heart, Karnik was quite astonished, but gave the rupee most happily. He felt that Sai himself was accepting the rupee which he had mentally offered him earlier. And yet, it is not quite correct to say that Sai had accepted it, for when such a thought is farthest from the mind, he just pulls it forcibly from you. And that is exactly what had happened. How beautiful it is. How beautiful it is. The mind is always full of resolutions, doubts, etc. Initially, it plans one thing, but when the time comes for executing the plan, wave upon wave of thoughts invade it. But it is only the first thought that arises, provided it is a benign one, which is nourished, and this becomes beneficial. So this is again a very beautiful indication how you need to listen to that first thought that comes. That is the thought of the divine. That is what the divine speaks within your heart. That is the voice of the divine. That first thought. But anything that follows after that, then it is gone. It is destroyed. And then it is not the thought of the divine, then it is your mind. It has already created doubts. Your mind gets tainted after that. Then whatever you might do, that has no value. But when you listen to that inner voice, that first thought, and you exactly follow it, you will see magic happening all around you. That is how the divine communicates. So know that is exactly what is mentioned here. The mind is always full of resolutions, doubts, etc. Initially, it plans one thing, but when the time comes for executing the plan, wave upon wave of thoughts invade it. So then what happens? Then everything that one thought is destroyed completely, because so many other thoughts have come. Then no matter what you do, it doesn't matter, because then it's a mind. But it is only the first thought that arises, provided it is a benign one, which is nourished, and this becomes beneficial. I'll narrate my own experience, in this context, how this first thought, the voice of the divine, how does it work? In the year 2014, we were planning the first ever Guru Purnima of our Krishna Guruji. And during the time, I didn't understand how do we celebrate Guru Purnima. I still remember that day being a Tuesday, and it was around the Brahma Muhurt, 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. I was awake, and in my heart, there's this one that whole quest was not even just a quest. The question, yeah, it was a question to my Gurudev's Gurudev. How do we need to do the Guru Puja? So that was the question. And what should be offered as Guru Dakshina? So these two questions were hankering me. So in that, you're not completely awake, but you are in that sleep and the waking state, sort of. I don't know how to explain that, but this is exactly what happened. Very vaguely, I can give you that experience. What did I experience? At that moment in time, when I was asking these questions, okay, there was something which said, there's this one sudden thought, like from nowhere. It was just that one thought. Publish the teachings of your Guruji. Publish a book. That's the Guru Dakshina you need to offer. It is a beautiful answer. And you wouldn't believe, it was like, and suddenly some light I experienced within me, a bright light. It is like something that, you say, Dimag ka batti jal gaya, something like that. Oh, you found an idea, or that answer you got, what you see. Something like that. I'm just giving it in that context. But something weird. It's like this is a powerful light within and around. And I'm like, oh God. And I'm like, thank you, Gurudev. I'm literally worshipping him in that state, I'm just saying, thank you so much for the guidance. And then I'm like, how do we need to do the Guru Puja? So that whole puja, the ritual, was just like, I don't know how, I don't know if it's a narration or what, I still can't explain that experience in words adequately. All I know was there was a sequence that was given to me in that state. That is all I understood of. I just didn't know anything beyond. And then I'm like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. So we have to do all of this. So that is an experience that happened. But the reason I'm, sharing this experience is to say that thought. It's not a thought that comes within your heart. It's a very pure one. That is the voice of the divine, the guidance from the divine. So when you focus on that one thing, you will understand everything will work magic. This is how it works. That was that one thought. So let's come back. So on it, the mind should concentrate, study deep. See, this is what you have to do on that one thought. The mind should concentrate, study deeply, and meditate upon repeatedly without allowing it to be forgotten, and thus keep one's word even with a special effort. So you should not forget that. See, it's very easy for us to lose that track. So I picked up on that thought and started, going and figuring out what it is to publish his teachings. How do we do it? So started calling people, started calling the publishing houses, trying to figure out, who would be the people. And suddenly when I Googled, I got some numbers and I called them. I found out, I spoke to them. They said they could do it. Then I was coordinating. So one after the other things followed so beautifully. So you have to catch hold on that thought. You have to meditate and put special effort. It's very important to keep one's word. You cannot forget what that instruction was, whatever the answer you receive. You have to keep that one's word, even with a special effort. You have to put special effort to go after it, to fulfill it. That is very important. But please understand, this is the way how the divine works, to get that task done from you. But you need to be that recipient to receive it. And receive it. Everybody receives it. You just need to listen. That is why it said, don't allow your mind to doubt you, because your mind is always full of resolutions, doubts, etc. So initially initially it plans one thing, and then it gives you some other plan, and then it overrides that whole thought, and that is lost then. Why? Because you're not able to listen to it. So here it's beautifully taught by Baba how to listen to it. So he's teaching you here. So understand, even you can experience this. We all experience day in and day out, just that we are not paying attention to it. So pay attention and you will see magic happening in your world. Appa Sahib had uttered the words and would have forgotten later. So Sai saw to it that they were fulfilled as soon as uttered, thereby revealing to the world the great marvel of devotion. Why else should the fakir have given back 9 rupees when he had with him full 19? But Appa's unfulfilled desire was to give rupees 10 and no less. This necklace of 9 gold coins, sanctified by Baba's touch, was really his way of reminding the devotees of the aggregate of the ninefold path of loving devotion. So that's a blessing. See, everything that the divine beings do has a deep significance to it. So when he returned the coins back to Appa Sahib, he actually blessed him with the ninefold path of loving devotion. Oh my God, can you believe just the touch of anything from your guru's hands is a blessing. It's a magic. You always need to revere anything that your Guruji gives you with absolute reverence. Savor it, live it, keep it with you. Just own that as the greatest possession, priceless possession in this world. That is what you have to do. As you will hear the story of Baba's giving up the body, you will see Baba's unique way of giving. When he gave 9 rupees to Lakshmi Bai at that time, Appa's wife had very sincerely and with all her heart given only 1 rupee, which he accepted with pleasure. There was no asking for more then. But Appa considered his wife's dakshina as too little. I would there and then have given to that fakir 10 times more had I been there, he thought. Since Appa had actually mentioned that he would have given 10 rupees, then unless he gave the full amount, how would he keep his word, discharged his debt? Absolutely. So the fakir made a provision to collect that. So Baba's way of collecting whatever that you wish to offer are mentioned here. It's not about it is 1 rupee or 10 rupee. It is your desire. It is your offering. To get it fulfilled, the sages work in different ways so that you don't fall short of it. You don't fail in fulfilling whatever you have committed to offer. This fakir was not like others. Was he any mendicant to go back, accepting whatever was placed in his hand? The day had not passed when, the same day that the words were uttered, he came back. But it was Appa who had a misconception that he was some other unknown fakir. When the fakir first asked him for dakshina, he had 6 rupees with him, but he did not give away all of them. And had he not really loved Appa, would Baba have come dressed as a fakir in the first place? Moreover, had he not pretended asking for dakshina, would the story have been so fascinating? Appa Sahib was only an excuse. But the same is true of you and me too, exactly what I mentioned. These are all leelas, where, telling you that you need to have this faith. All this can happen to you and me too, wherever you are based. You think if you're in America or in your London or Singapore that Baba can't be there or Lord Shri Krishna can't come. He will come in a very modern Western look. Would you be able to recognize him? But have the grace. He might just land in any form over there. So welcome him. What makes you think he's not there in America, or what makes you think he's not there in Singapore or London or any other part of this world? He's there everywhere. Seek and see the magic. Experience the magic yourself. So we all have good intentions to begin with. But when the time comes, we act quite differently according to the occasion. See, that's a problem. We all have good intentions to begin with. We all begin with good intention. But when the time actually comes, we act quite differently according to the occasion and circumstances. So we lose all of that. We say one thing and we do another thing. We don't keep up what we say. This is what is mentioned here. We're always ready with words and promises, but when it actually comes to giving, doubts cloud our minds and we waver. Rare is there any resolute action. Please know this. We're always ready with words and promises. Yeah, we make empty promise. My Guruji will say, please don't ever open your mouth. You just shut up and do it. This is exactly what my Krishna Guruji will say. People come and just make too many promises, empty words, that has no value. But when you act and then talk, that at least that still has some value. But you can't act and talk too. You just have to keep acting. You don't even have to say a word. The Guruji knows it all. Your Guru knows. The Masters knows it all. So why are you even opening your mouth? But when you open your mouth and give a word, please learn to keep it. And if you fail, then there is a big problem. So don't ever fail. So instead, don't say it at all. Even if it's a thought, hold it and please execute on that thought. When you say words in front of the divine master, you're already committing it. And if you don't fulfill, you're incurring karmas and sins, dime a dozen. So please do not ever do that. And that is why Baba and all these great masters, the sages and the saints, and go and get it done through you, because you will conveniently forget. They don't want you to fall into a sin, so they come and accept it, and they demand and accept. That is their greatness, not your greatness. Therefore, my Guruji will say, please don't make promise. If you promise, you need to learn to keep it up. Otherwise, don't say too many things in front of me. So silence is the mantra, which I have a very huge difficulty in following because I talk too much. We all have to practice silence, silencing of the mind. It's not just the jabber of the mouth, silence of the mind, and also silence of your mouth, because every word you have to wave your word and speak. That is very important. So learn to walk the talk. You have to be known for who you are. Whatever you say, keep to it. Okay? Don't ever fail. Do not fail your divine beings. Don't fail your Guruji. Always live beyond what they can even imagine of you. Of course, they know that you as a human being, we all have our inadequacies. We always fall short of what we will always fall short of our promises, commitment. We can't even keep up our words. We'll say, yeah, tomorrow I'll get up in the morning, and then we'll exactly fail not doing so. Why? Because we'll become all tamasic. We given to our laziness, the mind, inertia, all that. So don't do any of this. Rise. But here Baba is very beautifully explaining what you should not do. We are always ready with words and promises. But when it actually comes to giving, doubts cloud your mind. See, it's your mind which is a villain in your life. It's not the divine almighty. So what you need to overcome is your mind. So never let your mind create doubts in your mind and be waver. Rarely is there any resolute action. So very rarely do people fulfill that action, or where they can say, okay, I've committed and I'm going to do this. It's very rare. That's exactly what Baba is saying here. But rare among us is he who will speak little and always for the good of others, and will act strictly according to his word and vindicate it. Oh my God, this is a very important lesson. But rare among us is he who will speak little. So there are people, very, very rare. They are not there everywhere. That's what it means. Who will say little, who will just speak, but always for the good of others. And whatever they say, it's always going to be for the good of others, and will act strictly according to their words, according to his word, and vindicate it. So you need to become that. This is a lesson for everybody, okay? To a devotee with a single-minded devotion to him, Sai Samarth will grant whatever he desires to have, whether it be in this world or the next. Though Appa Sahib was very clever, proficient in the English education, the government paid him a salary of only ₹40 in the beginning. But later, when he got the photograph, his pay increased gradually to so many times more than ₹40. If you give him one, he gives you 10 times more the authority and power. And everyone has had this experience of Baba from time to time. See, you might give the divine being ₹1. They will give you 10 times or 100 times more than what you have given. So don't ever count and doubt. Don't become the petty human being when it is time to offer to your Gurudev. He gives it back to you in multi-folds. You can't even fathom it. And there is a reason how he gives and when he gives. It's not when you want it and how you want it. Their ways are very unique. You can't even comprehend it. And even after getting it, you will wonder, when has my Guruji given? That is exactly how you feel. So never ever try to weigh your Guruji in the same way you can measure your mind, or your mind waves you. Please never do that. Your master is ocean of compassion. He's that Lord Almighty. What is there for him that he can't fulfill in this universe? Yet he will only give you that which is going to benefit you, and it is only for your well-being. He's not going to give you more, or he's not going to give you less. What you rightfully deserve, what you truly deserve, he will bestow upon you at the right time. So always have faith and perseverance, and Shraddha and Saburi, faith and patience. That is what you need to have in the divine Lord, mighty Lord, and your Guruji. So, moreover, from such steady faith, the spiritual perception begins to grow. Is this any ordinary game? Baba's skill is really most remarkable. Later, Appa Sahib asked to see the vibhuti given by that fakir. It was in a packet which he opened very lovingly. From the packet came out flowers and consecrated rice along with udhi. He put them in an amulet which he tied around his arm with great respect. I've already given a beautiful story about my own Guruji's disciple, how when my Guruji had given him the udhi that turned out into consecrated rice, giving him that conviction that his daughter will get married. We've already discussed this story in detail, so I'm not going to go over it now. Okay. Later, when he took Baba's darshan, Baba gave him one hair of his, which he very lovingly put in the amulet along with the rest. Oh, what significance Baba's udhi has. Udhi also adorns Shankar, and he who applies it on his forehead with faith will have all the impediments in his way removed instantly. After the morning ablutions, he who applies the udhi daily and drinks it along with the holy water washed off Baba's feet will acquire much merit and be purified. And this is something I mentioned to you. The holy water which is washed off the Guruji's feet, your Guru's feet, when you drink it, it will purify and give you merit. It will remove all your sins, all your inner tendencies. It will transform you within and not just outside, within. The transformation within is more important. External transformation is one aspect, but the internal transformation is the most critical one. So when you drink the holy water, which is washed from your Guruji's feet, that is what will bring you merit. Moreover, another special property of the udhi is that if taken faithfully, it will bring a long life. All the sins will be destroyed and happiness and contentment will come to stay. In this way, Sai has given a feast of this nectar sweet story under the pretext of Appa, and we have been but uninvited guests who have feasted at it to our heart's content. But whether a guest or the host, all have partaken of the same feast. There is no differentiation as far as sweetness and deliciousness are concerned. Be satiated with this feast of self-rejoicing. Hemad bows at Sai's feet. What we have listened to so far is quite enough. In the next chapter, we'll follow the narration of greater significance of the udhi. Hence, how by smearing of udhi and Sai's darshan, a deep-seated ulcer was totally cured. How the ringworm and bubonic plague were cured too. Listen to it very carefully. So, we'll be to all. Here ends the 33rd chapter of Shri Sai Satcharita called The Significance of Udhi Part 1, as inspired by the saints and the virtuous and composed by his devotee Hemad Pant. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan once again. See you all tomorrow morning for Devi Mahatmyam and tomorrow evening for Sai Satcharita Parayan at the same time. Devi Mahatmyam tomorrow will be from 10 a.m. Sorry. Okay, my apologies. It will be from 9:30 to 10:30. See you tomorrow morning for Devi Mahatmyam Parayan. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Gurunathanatha Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum.